There was one stat that was posted by Fox during the broadcast that I wanted to get your take on, each one of you. And it was Caleb Williams' numbers against top 25 ranked defenses. And I went back and I looked at the rankings on the composite defenses this season and then also last season. So we're talking about 2 games against Utah, and then, of course, 1 game this year against Utah. So 3 total games against Utah. We're talking Oregon State last season, Notre Dame both seasons. And those were really the teams that that I could find ranked in the top 25 on USC's last 2 years' schedule. So we're, again, talking top 25 defenses. And the numbers, as I recall, were 51% completion percentage, 6 TDs, 6 picks, 172 yards passing. How valid do you think those numbers are?
I think a lot of it's on the Oregon State game last year and Notre Dame this year. I mean, he threw 6 interceptions in all of last year, if I'm not mistaken, right? He threw 3, and he threw 3 in the first half. Huh?
I think it might have been 5 picks all of last year, 4 or 5.
Okay, so he threw 5 all last year. And he threw 3, basically a little over a quarter and a half in that Notre Dame game. I think that Notre Dame game, he was just
Oregon
State.
State.
Number one, hats off to their defense. They've got a solid defense. They had a great game plan. They kept them pinned in. They did everything right to do it, but Caleb's team also let him down around him. Also, if you guys have been noticing, Caleb's been heavily taped pinky finger. And anyone that's ever thrown a football knows how important that to your releases, your pinky is. And I don't know how much, because like Matt said earlier in the show, we've seen him throw off platform. We've seen his deep ball. We've seen intermediate passes. He has elite arm talent, and he's just off for the past 3-4 weeks. I have to believe there's something wrong injury-wise. A couple weeks ago, I saw him go into the tent before the game, and I'm like, whoa. I even texted Gabe and Trojan Blade. Caleb just went into the injury tent. Guys, he might have just gone to the bathroom for all we know. But it was really quick, and he came out and he seemed like he was moving around okay, but then he went through some balls. I don't know what's going on with his hand. I think Riley was asked that question about the tape on his hand. He said that he threw and he got a hit, and I'm wondering how much that's affecting him. But overall, Mark, we've seen him against good offenses and defenses. We know what he can do talent-wise. I'm not sure how much of an indictment that is, either on the offense or whatever. When you play, by the way, were those like top 25 fringe, or were they top 10 defenses that they were going up against? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not reading
mostly in the low teens to 20s.
Okay. But that Utah defense they went up against is pretty damn elite. And also remember this, Mark, we talked about this. Maybe some of those Big Ten defenses are maybe a little bit higher up on the statistically wise.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of the offenses in the Big Ten, and maybe the better defense of the Pac-12, like Oregon State last year, Utah this year, might be a little bit higher because of the quality of quarterback play and offenses they face.
Well, regardless, even though those defenses would have been ranked higher facing worse offenses, they were still ranked in the top 25, and that's what that set of numbers was showing us.
But outside those 2 games, I mean, I don't remember him having stinkers. He had a really bad game against Oregon State last year. Partially was again a great defense, space at linebacker, and both their corners were giving him fits, and so that game. But even that game, he had open receivers. And he was just missing guys. Quarterbacks, even guys like Caleb Williams, all great quarterbacks. You're gonna have off games. And, I think it's a combination of both. You go up against a good defense, you don't have your game, you're going to put up bad numbers.
I think, this discussion, Mark, I think it puts in question Caleb Williams' place in the NFL draft. I really think that you're going to see NFL evaluators rethink this, because entering the season, I thought, of course he's going to be the number 1 overall pick, 0 doubt, and period, end of debate, end of discussion. I think we now need to have a real discussion, because like you're seeing how badly Bryce Young is struggling with the Carolina Panthers, in what is not a very good situation, doesn't have pieces around him. And we've seen Caleb Williams with this, a USC offensive line, which is noticeably worse than last year's group, when he had Andrew Voorhees and Brett Nealon and Bobby Haskins as well, 3 rock solid offensive linemen holding together that full line. Like this year, you have Jonah Monheim, but Justin Dedich not quite as good as he was last season. And so NFL GMs, I think, now have a real conversation on their hands. Like if you don't have an offensive line in front of Caleb Williams, is he going to be able to deal with not having all the pieces aligned just so around him? So I no longer think he's a slam dunk. Now, of course, Drake May just lost to Virginia, so I don't think it's so much about a debate whether it's Caleb Williams or Drake May. I think Marvin Harrison, that's the guy who could be the new number one pick, because he was by far the best player on the field in that Penn State Ohio State game. It basically came down to Ohio State had Marvin Harrison and Penn State didn't. And when you can talk about a player in those terms, we had this guy, you didn't, that decided the outcome. That is a very special player. And so so there are now real questions. I think if Caleb Williams is number one in the draft, this is where I'm currently at. Doesn't mean this is what my thought process will be in December or February or April. But right now, I'm thinking that if Caleb Williams goes number one in the draft, it's going to be because a team with a really strong offensive line, with an infrastructure in place on offense, will trade up from a mid-tier first-round position and will put all its poker chips into the middle of the table to go up to number one. It will give up a lot of assets to get Caleb Williams. So if you put Caleb Williams in a good NFL situation, look at what the Eagles have done with Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts, of course, he was a number 53 pick, but you surround a really talented, gifted athlete with the right pieces, his career can take off. And I think that's the proper way to assess and evaluate Caleb Williams right now. You give him pieces, he will be the rock star quarterback that you hope he will be. But if he steps into a Carolina Panthers style situation, I think this season shows it's not a sure thing that he will be able to overcome those things. And Chicago Bear fans, like they're certainly going through the discussion of, well, if we get Caleb Williams, is it really going to be any better than Justin Fields? And like, you have to have a competent coaching staff, you have to have a competent offensive line. So there are some definite fresh questions to ask about Caleb Williams relative to the NFL draft based on your statistics, Mark.
You could put any really good quarterback in the wrong system with the wrong coaching, and they're going to do poor no matter how good or bad or elite they are or aren't. You guys, really quickly, I'm bad at this. We had 260. We still have 240 on line. Right in that corner by Matt, right by bottom left-hand corner or bottom right-hand corner on your screen, there's that subscribe button. And you guys, we really appreciate it. I mean, I can't tell you how satisfying it is to look up there and see 242 of you guys in here watching our show. It's really, really, it's just great to see. But if you could do us a kindness and just take that extra step further, we appreciate you being here. But if you guys can go ahead and subscribe, Matt and I go live, and we have call-in shows that have been pretty successful. People have been enjoying them, where you guys call in and you vent all you want. And the only way you're going to know when we're going live is if you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you can get a notification when we do go live. But we're really close to that 4,300 mark. We'd like to get there. We can get there tonight if half of you guys went ahead and subscribed to the show right now.
Also want to let everyone know that if you are looking for the best deal to get to that game that you otherwise can't be able to corral that ticket. So we're especially talking about that tough to get ticket to any college football game this year. Go to Think Smarter. It's thinksmarter.com, or you can download the ticketsmarter.com, Ticketsmarter mobile app. And the promo code you'll want to use is LWOS10. LWOS10. That's for a purchase of at least $100. If your purchase is at least $300, your promo code is LWOS20. You see it on the banner there. Again, that is ticketsmarter.com or the Ticketsmarter mobile app. It's the very best secondary ticket platform on the sports ticket market, and you can use that promo code multiple times. It doesn't run out after one time. You can use it multiple times.